The first Friday night of my no-spend experiment was tough. My friends were heading out for dinner, and I felt the urge to grab my wallet and join them. But I had promised myself something different. For the next 2 months, I would follow Dave Ramsey's no-spend rules. That meant no takeout, no impulse Amazon buys, no extra coffees, only the basics. If you've heard of Dave Ramsey, you know he's famous for teaching people how to take control of their money and live debt-free. His no-spend challenge is simple in theory but hard in practice. It asks you to stop buying anything you don't truly need. I decided to try it not just to save money, but to see how it would change my daily habits. What I discovered went far beyond dollars. It reshaped how I think about choices, happiness, and even freedom. Who is Dave Ramsey, and what are his no-spend rules? Dave Ramsey is one of the most well-known voices in personal finance. For more than 30 years, he has taught people how to get out of debt, save money, and live with less financial stress. He first became popular through his radio show, The Dave Ramsey Show, and later through books like The Total Money Makeover. Today, millions of people around the world follow his advice. One of his strongest ideas is the no-spend rule. The idea is simple. For a set amount of time, you only spend money on what you truly need, things like rent, groceries, and basic bills. Everything else, from eating out to shopping for clothes you don't need, is put on hold. Ramsey's goal with this challenge is not just to save money. It's also about breaking old habits, learning self-control, and giving every dollar a clear purpose. He often says, "Tell your money where to go," instead of wondering where it went. With inflation rising and credit card debt hitting record highs in 2024 and 2025, Ramsey's no-spend rules are getting attention again. Many people see them as a fresh way to reset their finances in uncertain times. Before starting, I had to be clear about what counted as needs and what counted as wants. Dave Ramsey is very strict about this. Needs are things like rent, groceries, electricity, water, and basic transport. Wants are almost everything else: takeout food, streaming upgrades, or that random Amazon order you don't really need. For my 2-month challenge, I set up my own rules. Groceries, rent, and bills were allowed. Gas for my car was allowed. But no eating out, no coffee runs, no online shopping, and no just because spending. If I wanted something fun, I had to find a free version. Ramsey often teaches people to use cash envelopes, putting physical money in different categories like food or gas. When the envelope is empty, you're done. I tried a modern version using a budgeting app that worked like digital envelopes. It kept me honest without needing to carry cash. I also left sticky notes on my debit card that said, "Do you really need this?" It sounds silly, but it worked. In today's world, where almost everything is digital and one click away, these small tricks were the only way to stick to the rules. 1. The first 2 weeks, the withdrawal phase. The first 2 weeks felt like going through withdrawal. Spending money had been part of my daily routine without me even noticing. Normally, I would grab a coffee on the way to work, order food when I was tired, or buy something small online just because it made me feel good. Suddenly, all of that was off limits. In the first few days, I caught myself opening shopping apps out of habit. I would fill my cart with things I didn't need, then stop myself at the last second. It was almost like scrolling for comfort. The hardest moments were weekends. Friends invited me out for dinner, movies, or drinks, and saying no made me feel left out. Food delivery was another battle. After a long day, cooking felt exhausting, but I reminded myself of the rules. Instead, I cooked simple meals and realized I actually had food at home I had been ignoring. There were also small slip-ups. One day, I bought a coffee without thinking. Another time, I rented a new movie online. Both times I felt guilty, but instead of quitting, I kept going. What I learned during these weeks is that spending isn't just about money, it's about habits and emotions. Shopping had been a way to escape boredom, stress, or even loneliness. Without it, I had to face those feelings differently. It was uncomfortable, but it also made me aware of how automatic spending had become in my life. 2. The turning point. By the 3rd week, something started to change. The constant urge to spend money began to fade. I still thought about buying things, but it no longer felt as strong as before. Instead of focusing on what I couldn't do, I started noticing what I could. Cooking, which had first felt like a chore, became enjoyable. I experimented with recipes and even learned to make bread at home. Walks in the park, free local events, and reading books I already owned started to fill my free time. Surprisingly, these activities felt more satisfying than shopping ever did. Even my social life shifted. Instead of going out to eat, I invited friends over for game nights or coffee at home. Some of them were curious about the no-spend challenge and even joined me for a week. What began as a personal test turned into a shared experience. The most unexpected part was how light I felt. Saying no stopped feeling like punishment. Instead, it felt like freedom. Freedom from constant pressure to keep up, buy more, or chase the next new thing. For the first time, I realized spending less didn't mean living less. In some ways, it meant living more. 3. Modern life versus Ramsey's old rules. Dave Ramsey's no-spend rules were first created in the 1990s. Back then, people mostly used cash, wrote checks, and paid bills by hand. His famous envelope system, where you put money in different cash envelopes for groceries, gas, and bills, worked perfectly for that time. But today, our money habits look very different. We live in a world of subscriptions, digital wallets, and one-click shopping. Music, movies, cloud storage, even workouts, all are tied to monthly payments. Many of us never see cash anymore. Because of that, sticking to Ramsey's old rules can feel outdated. Carrying envelopes full of cash just doesn't fit into a mostly cashless society. During my challenge, I had to adapt his methods. Instead of paper envelopes, I used a budgeting app that let me lock money into categories. I also set spending limits on my debit card and used reminders on my phone to stop impulse buys. These digital versions of his old system made the rules possible in today's world. Another difference is side hustles and the gig economy. People now have multiple income streams, freelance jobs, online sales, or app-based work. This means money flows in faster but can disappear just as quickly if we're not careful. Ramsey's advice still works, but it needs updating. His no-spend rules are less about cash and more about mindset. Whether it's envelopes or apps, the goal is the same. Control your money before it controls you. After 2 full months of following the no-spend rules, the results surprised me. The most obvious change was in my bank account. I saved around $1,200, money that would normally have disappeared on takeout, online shopping, and random weekend spending. Seeing that number grow gave me a huge sense of control. But the results went beyond money. My stress levels dropped because I wasn't worrying about bills as much. I slept better, partly because I wasn't staying up late scrolling through shopping apps or stressing about credit card charges. My daily routine felt calmer and more intentional. I also noticed I valued the things I already had. Clothes, books, kitchen gadgets. They felt new again once I stopped constantly buying replacements. Shopping stopped being a source of excitement, and life started to feel lighter. Even my relationships changed. Friends respected my boundaries and enjoyed the cheaper, simpler activities we did together. I learned that connection doesn't have to come with a price tag. The biggest win was discovering that I could say no to myself and survive. That self-control gave me confidence, not just with money, but with other choices too. Looking back, the no-spend challenge taught me more about myself than I expected. At first, I thought it was only about saving money, but it turned out to be about habits, values, and self-control. One big lesson was that spending is often emotional. I had to deal with those feelings in healthier ways, like going for a walk, calling a friend, or cooking a meal. Most importantly, I realized that saying no isn't a negative thing. At first, it felt like missing out, but soon it felt like freedom. I wasn't chasing the latest trend or comparing myself to others. Instead, I was focusing on what truly mattered: my health, relationships, and peace of mind. The no-spend rules didn't just reset my wallet. They reset my mindset. And that shift may be more valuable than the money I saved. So, should you try Dave Ramsey's no-spend rules? I think yes, but with a plan that fits your life. It's not always easy, but the rewards go beyond money. In the end, the challenge isn't just about saving cash. It's about taking back control of your life. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel to see more content like this. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.